strap in and get ready for After Hours with TC Restani. This is Abigail Harwich, executive producer, welcoming you to the show. And now, TC Restani!
Alrighty then, welcome to the After Hours of TC Restani The Podcast. I'm TC Restani, emanating from the palatial podcast penthouse, and I got my fantastic crew of experts here. We're going to go around the horn and introduce them to you in case you are listening to this for the very first time. My mentor and host of Ricky Bittman's Jukebox exclusively on Spotify, the one and the only Ricky Bittman.
Good evening, TC.
How are you doing today, Ricky?
I'm doing pretty good. Better than last week. I think it was the last time we talked. I was exhausted. Remember that?
I heard that. You were exhausted. It was unbelievable. And of course, the greatest celebrity stalker of all time, the one and the only South Boston Jeff, who I heard has been stalking. We'll get into that later on in this episode.
Hey, what's happening?
What's happening?
I'm feeling the buzz. What's buzzing?
Conspicuous by his absence, speaking of buzzing, the one and the infamous Quincy Briscoe. I understand he's out motorcycle shopping.
For real?
For real.
Wow.
That's what I heard.
What do you do, hit the number?
I think that his former residence got sold and he got some cash coming to him.
Wow, that's good.
So,
he must be very happy.
You know how long he's been looking to get a new rig, as he calls it.
Imagine if he got one of those big choppers.
Like, an American chopper will build it for me. I like the karaoke bike I wanted.
That's important.
You know what's important, Ricky? Because they built a Billy Joel bike, and then I said I wanted a karaoke bike. So, hats off to Quincy, or excuse me, helmets off to Quincy out there. I hope you get the rig that you're looking for. We'll hear from him on a future episode. And of course, you can listen to him. He recorded an episode of South Boston Jeff's Clouded Conversations just 48 hours ago. And what was the subject matter, Jeff?
UFOs, aliens, all kinds of cool shit that we didn't cover in the last podcast. We were covering the fact that there's a major whistleblower going around talking about I guess an ex-CIA guy, and he's saying that that the alien conspiracy has been covered up for many years now, and he's ready to do some talking.
I can't wait.
I hope they're friendly.
Well, I think we know by now if they weren't, unless they were behind COVID.
You never know. Maybe that's how they breathe.
Nothing would surprise me anymore.
Nothing.
You know me.
Nothing. No, you got a piece of paper there in your hand there, Mr. Bibbin.
There's a couple things. I didn't want to jump to this right away because I think one of them is something we really need to talk about, and the other one's kind of fun. So we'll do the fun one first.
We'll do the fun one first.
All right. So this one, I want to know if you guys can tell me who is the 81-year-old who is featured in the latest issue of the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
81 years old. Now, she stole the title of the oldest to pose for the publication from a woman named Mae Musk, who appeared on the 2022 cover at age 74. Now, I didn't even know that happened last year.
Now, it's not Martha Stewart, is it?
It is Martha Stewart. How did you know that?
For some weird reason, I'm not like a fan of Martha Stewart.
He bought the issue.
All right. I have a subscription. No, I did not buy the issue. I just remember hearing it about on somebody else's podcast where they were talking about Martha Stewart.
I had this. I mentioned it on the jukebox last night when I recorded.
Well, maybe that's when I heard it.
Maybe that's
Galen is the one who called me and told me.
Well, he's letting things out then.
Uh-oh.
But I was just saying that kind of blew my mind. And I saw some of the pictures. Now, look, I'm not a misogynist by any means, but what are they trying to prove? Come on.
I didn't realize she was that old.
I didn't either. I had no idea she was 81.
81 years old. I mean, there are older women that I'm very attracted to, like, Jacqueline Smith from Charlie's Angels, the late, great Raquel Welch.
Yeah, she was up until the end there.
But Martha Stewart, didn't she?
How about Helen Mirren?
Yeah, she's still held together, I think.
Yeah. I was just watching her in Caligula the other night, and one of the only movies that shows her nude, and she was looking great back then. I mean, it's still worth a watch and everything. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it's also not a bad movie.
Well, didn't that come out in like the late 60s?
Maybe early 70s
or mid-70s.
Was
that before or after Clockwork?
That was after Clockwork.
All right, so Clockwork was 71.
Yeah, so it was like the mid to late 70s, because I know that was all the buzz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Malcolm McDowell was on the top of his game at the time.
Peter O'Toole was in it too, wasn't he?
Yeah. Peter O'Toole was stoned and drunk and stoned every hour of the day.
So what you're telling me, this just shows the versatility of Malcolm McDowell. He
Yeah.
went from Clockwork Orange,
Great movie.
playing this demented rapist, all right, going to Caligula, which took place back in Roman times, which
Yes.
was pretty much a porno.
Yeah, it was produced and directed by Bob Guccione of Penthouse Magazine.
Mr. Penthouse himself.
Yeah.
And then he goes off and plays H.G. Wells in Time After Time.
Yeah.
So everybody thinks of him just as like this eccentric actor or whatnot, but he's very versatile. There's three
He
examples.
certainly, yeah, and he was also the guy they got to kill Captain Kirk.
That's right.
That's true.
He plays Dr. Soren.
Dr. Stewart.
But one of my all-time favorite actors, he is.
Now, as a porno movie, though, Caligula just tanked.
Really?
There was nothing there.
Well, that was around the time of, Debbie Does Dallas and Deep Throat.
And those were.
Well, people know, like...
Deep Throat was terrible.
Yeah, it came in like everybody went to see it because it was very hyped up and
Yes,
everything.
it's the legend.
Very hyped up and everything. It took about 2 years to complete and finish. One of the original one of the original directors of it, Tinto Brass is the guy's name. I'm a big fan of his work.
Yeah.
He's
So's Quest.
Obviously,
So's Quest.
yeah, but
Tinto
like
Brass. I love that name.
yeah, like because he has some. Speaking of him, he has some originally a big Italian name, but he changed his last name to Brass because he's into big round asses. Brass, big round ass, Brass. Yeah, I'm into brass. But
Tinto Brassini.
he was actually fired during the as director during the halfway through Caligula. But
What could he have done? I mean, think about it.
yeah, I don't think they agreed with some of the fat women that he used.
Okay, I'm going to give you just brought up long Italian names
Oh, my goodness.
that, they shorten it to become, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Can anybody tell me who Alfonso Joseph D'Abruzzo is?
Bruno Sammartino?
No, it's not Bruno Sammartino.
He was from Abruzzi. It's like, I have no idea.
Alfonso Joseph D'Abruzzo.
Actor or sports?
Actor.
Okay.
When you think of you, when I tell you the answer, you're like, really?
It wouldn't by any
Skerritt.
chance be a dwarf actor, would it?
It would not be a dwarf actor. No.
Tom Skerritt.
In fact, this actor is very tall.
Peter Mayhew.
No, he's dead. Ain't Peter Mayhew.
He's tall.
All right, going once.
I have no idea.
Going
You're
twice.
drawing a blank, but it sounds familiar.
Alan Alda.
Jeez, I never would have guessed that.
That's Alan Alda's
Like
real
the
name.
whitest slice of bread in Hollywood, for crying out loud.
Alfonso Joseph D'Abruzzo.
I never would have guessed
That's
that.
Alan Alda. When
He
you
is-
brought up that long Italian name, Tinto Brass, I popped right in my head. I go, what's Alan Alda's real name? I had to look it up, but I knew he had a long Italian name.
You know what the longest Italian name I always thought was? The record was on an episode of The Simpsons when Marge was looking for magazines, and he goes, "Hey, Mrs. S, I get the latest issue of Mop and Brew magazine," and she goes, "Thanks, Benevent Stanchiano."
Well, he doesn't trump Alan Alda.
No, he doesn't, but that's a great name. Thanks, Benevent Stanchiano.
Unbelievable.
Sometimes I call my Tasha Lent, I call her Benevent Stanchiano.
All right, so getting back to your what's her face there on the cover of Sports
Yeah.
Illustrated.
Well, here's what she said about it.
Okay, let's hear what she is.
Usually I'm motivated by pay, but this time I was motivated by showing people that a woman my age could still look good, feel good, and be good. She said that in a conversation with Sports Illustrated Swimsuit. I thought that this is kind of historic and that I better look really, really good.
And let's get down to brass tag, not Tinto Brass, but does anybody actually still buy Sports Illustrated swimsuit?
I mean, I always thought it came out in February because, it came out usually come around Valentine's Day, so I don't know where this is from, but it's a recent story. But I can't remember last time I bought one.
What old broad would you like to see on the cover?
Carole King, the singer.
Carole King.
Yeah.
Okay.
She still looks good.
Still looks good?
Yeah, I always liked her when she was young, too. She's kind of hippie look. She had a nice look to her.
All right.
And they showed a picture of her recently, how Madonna, just pumped her face up. with
Madonna
crap.
looks like a vampire.
Right. And then they showed Carole King, who didn't nothing to her looks.
Right.
And she looks amazing.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper still looks good. She just turned 70.
It's a great example.
Yeah, today's her
Great
birthday,
example.
isn't it?
Yeah. Great example.
Wow. What about you, Jeff? Other than Helen Mirren.
Oh, no. I've always wanted to catch a look at Dolly Parton.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, like her face now is like she looks more fake than real these days and everything. But never in our lives have we got to look at her in the buff.
You know, she's been with the same guy for like 70 years.
Yes.
Yeah, she's probably got some very precious knockers.
There's a great picture of her in the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas in that garter and stocking outfit.
Yeah,
and somebody posted it on social medias recently and said, you know, the song she's famous for is Jolene, Jolene, Don't You Dare Take My Man. And they show the picture of Dolly Parton, and they're like, what could Jolene have been packing to take this woman's man away? So, and it was kind of funny.
Yeah, she works 9 to 5.
I'm telling you, she looked good. And you know, you look back in the days she was with Porter Wagner in the old early days of her career, she's a good-looking young girl.
She's from Tennessee, right?
Hold on. I should know this. Butcher Holler. I mean, no, that was Loretta Lynn.
Where's her amusement park?
That's in Nashville. Dollywood is in Nashville. But where the hell did she grow up? This is killing me.
I mean, you got to think about it. Somewhere out there, some woman in the world, by process of elimination, has the best set of tits in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably her.
The most famous
we've never seen them.
That's true. I mean, you know, you're right. Most of the actresses have showed the goods. Dolly Parton has never shown the goods.
She's 77 years old, which really, by today's
standards,
isn't that old.
She seems way older than that.
Yeah, she's not.
Because she's been around forever.
Where the hell was she born? Why doesn't it just say where she was born?
Let's give Dolly.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Pittman Center, Tennessee.
Pittman Center, not Titman Center, Tennessee.
They renamed it Titman Center.
I mean, we can't even ask Burt Reynolds.
You think Burt Reynolds? No, she's too loyal to her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. She's been married for years and years.
Carl Dean. She married him in 1966.
Oh, my God.
She married that guy a year after I was born.
She married that guy 5 years before I was even a thought.
She plays the guitar, banjo, piano, auto harp, violin, Appalachian dulcimer, harmonica, and saxophone. I would not have guessed.
Well, there she go. Well, you know, you never hear any controversy about Dolly Parton, ever.
No, and she admits that she's had work done, and she jokes about it, and she's very self-effacing, which I find very attractive. You know, when people just admit, hey, you know, this is the best I got to give you. You know, unlike Madonna.
Unlike Madonna, who looks like a vampire from Interview with a Vampire. I mean, Madonna back in the day, like a virgin, she was a knockout.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
well, prior to that, did you ever see the pictures of her in like Penthouse and Playboy?
Yeah.
Ugh, nothing right. She wasn't Madonna yet.
She was just a young girl taken advantage of.
She needed
just some young Italian broad.
Yeah.
She needed
some young hairy Italian.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she needed to shave. Her armpits, man, they look like Wookiees.
Yeah.
It was whatever. Madonna could buy and sell us if she wanted to.
Yeah, because the three of us are so gorgeous.
Hey, listen. Look at the sequin jacket I'm in right now. Look at these sideburns right now. The honky tonk man is jealous of these.
Look at this coonskin hat.
It is. I'm talking. Jackie Gleason is rolling in his grave right now.
How sweet it is.
Because you have that. And Jeff, you got.
Yeah, look at my widow's pea.
Look at that.
In my fine full head of hair.
Eddie Munster's jealous. Let's just put it.
I think Jeff is the heartthrob of the whole group. I mean, there's no question.
Well, if you polled anybody, I think they'd go with Bull. But you know,
I try to dress for success.
You do.
I said it a couple weeks ago. Jeff's got some game.
You're a fashion plate, Jeff. I mean, you got a lot of coordination. How many compliments did you get at that Comic-Con this weekend for your shirt that you had on?
The groovy shirt. Yeah. I go to about 3 or 4.
Yeah, and that's a lot because there was like 6 people at this thing.
Now I wore my Glenn Campbell shirt recently, and nobody said a word.
Really?
I think
you gotta go with the Bruce Campbell shirt. That's why you gotta go with the Bruce Campbell.
You get the wrong Campbell. I'm gonna wear the Campbell soup one next week.
Good.
Good. I was a fan of Campbell soup. What was your favorite one? The chicken noodle?
Oh my God! I think my favorite was probably the with the vegetable with the alphabets in it.
Okay.
And I like that one.
All right.
Had little peas in it, little pasta letters and stuff. But I also was very partial to vegetable beef. And, of course, I like the tomato, too. I mean,
imagine how much sodium in his eyes. We look at a can of that.
Yeah. And I used to load the tomato up with the saltines.
Oh.
So it made just like this paste, this tomato
It was
paste.
always a tradition for me to get home from the local MDC pool and cook myself a can of chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
I don't know why
all this stuff about talking about saltines and tomato soup sounds like a sick day.
Yeah.
You know, when you stay home and you watch The Price is Right.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that. I remember those days.
He's still kicking Bob Barker.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know how that's possible.
His bark is worse than his bite.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, didn't he screw around with all those Baca chicks?
How could he not? I mean, were people really shocked by that?
No.
Yeah, I mean, jeez.
What was it? Diane Parkinson. And,
Yep. She posed for Playboy.
Yeah. She was in the issue of our good friend Jenny Lavoie. She was the centerfold.
Oh, I didn't know
of
that.
one, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
She was on the video together. And who was the redhead one? Holly. I liked her.
I did too, yeah.
She was a
Kinda like
cutie.
the short hair.
Yeah, she was the Holly. I forgot. And then I don't remember the other ones, but those.
How could you not? I mean,
Vanna White was a contestant on that.
no.
She was. You can look it up.
And so was the kid from Breaking Bad.
That's right.
Yeah, he was on it.
Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah, that's right.
Aaron Paul.
Yep. I knew a girl back in the 90s who was on it, and she did okay. She did okay. She won some prizes.
I always wanted, this is my sick mind working here. I always wanted to see someone spin the wheel and get caught and go up.
and all blood come on.
You remember in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom when he fought the thuggy god and he went through that rolling thing and he got crushed? I always wanted to see someone get caught in the Price is Right wheel.
I always wanted to see the wheel come off the clips and roll right into the audience and roll right up to the back of the theater and then back down.
And just wipe out people.
Like kill about 60 people, 30 on the way up and 30 on the way down.
And Bob Barker just sitting there going, well, there's something you don't see every day.
Jesus Christ! Jesus, can we go to a commercial?
Did we get everybody spayed and neutered? I'd like to meet Bob Barker. The guy's such a legend.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around television the guy's 90-something years old. He's easily been around on television for at least 70 years.
Now, this is how old I am compared to you guys. I remember there was a show Barker was on before Price is Right.
What was that?
Called Truth or Consequences.
Okay.
And it was, I think you had to either tell the truth about something or you had to do a stunt.
Like Truth or Dare?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Well, I've actually heard about that show. The reason I've heard about that show is because there's a serial killer named David Parker Ray, the toy box killer, and he's
of course,
and he's from a town.
laughing at this.
And he's from a town that was named after that show.
Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
Well, that's where Cactus Jack was from.
That's where he's from. He's from Truth or Consequences, New Mexico.
That's right. There was an old show. There's clips of that on YouTube, but I just remember there was. They kind of used to play jokes on people too. I think there was one. They had a Boy Scout and a Girl Scout, and what the Boy Scout, he was trying to race this Girl Scout through this obstacle course. But what they didn't know is the Girl Scout had a twin sister. So every time the kid got to the finish line, she was already there. Like, he had to go through all these tunnels and everything, and the kid couldn't figure it out. They're like, oh, we'll give you another chance. And the kid was like pouring sweat, and he was exhausted at the end. And then they finally said, well, the reason why you're not winning is because she's over there and she's over there.
It's like when you have the 3 pigs and you put 1, 2, and 4 on it.
Exactly.
And there's no 3.
Exactly.
And you're going crazy looking for it.
See?
Now, did it bother you when Bob Barker showed up one morning and his hair was white?
No.
It didn't bother you?
No.
It was kind of a shock to the system, I think, a little bit.
Well, I find we're going to get in a lot of trouble for this one, but I find
I didn't notice it until he did the movie Happy Gilmore.
Oh, he did that. It happened way before.
Yeah, I know that, but that's the first time I noticed.
It's like on it was like on a Friday he signed off, and then they came back on Monday, and he's got Ric Flair here.
I don't want to, but I find that when women let themselves go gray, it's a lot more jarring to me. Because I've ran into this in my personal life several times recently.
Like B. Arthur?
I'm talking about like people I know, like all of a sudden, whoa. And it's jarring. Men, I just think, are just naturally are always just older. They're just old men.
Right.
Women, I just think they have an eternal spirit because a lot of the women I know, I guess, keep their hair colored, which I didn't know. I honestly didn't know.
My grandmothers, both of them had kept their hair colors until they were like 90.
Yeah, really. And it's like, and now people like younger than I am, women who are just like gone completely gray, and it's just like a little like,
get a little Maybelline down there.
This is just me. It's my own insecurity. Maybe it's not insecurities. It's my own weirdness. I'll just say, but it's
right. It's a shock to the system.
But like I when I see like myself, I look at pictures from just 10 years ago. My hair was as dark as this microphone stand, and now it's just
unfortunately, in the Restani genes, I have the jet black hair. It just seems
good.
to stay.
Yeah, it's good, and I don't know. It's just weird. That didn't bother me, though.
It doesn't bother you at all?
No.
That's good. Who was your favorite game show host? Speaking of that, Pat Sajak is retiring off of the Wheel of Fortune after like 40,000 years.
I liked I liked only a couple of game shows growing up. I liked Joker's Wild. What was that guy?
Oh, that guy's name was
Jack something, wasn't it? It was
Jack Barry.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Yeah.
I liked him, and I always liked Bill Cullen.
Bill Cullen. He looked like Gordon Soley.
Yes, very, very good. Yeah, that's exactly who he looked like. He had those glasses that caught the glare. He always looked like really stupid. But he was a great guy.
Here's a trivia question. Before Vanna White,
Yep.
who was the spinning hostess on Wheel of Fortune?
Kathy Lee?
Was not Kathy Lee.
No, that was my guess.
Jeff, do you know?
No.
One by the name of Susan Stafford.
Who was she?
She was the pre-Vanna White.
Oh, I thought she was like somebody that we would know.
No.
That was it?
She was the original co-host.
What's she doing now?
I don't know. I have no idea. But they're obviously the original host of Wheel of Fortune was Chuck Woolery.
Yep.
And but good for Pat Sajak, 40-some money. What a gig!
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a. I don't even want to know what he accumulated on that show.
That's a.
He must own a piece of it now that Merv's gone.
Yeah. He has to.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what about his talk show? Did you ever watch his late night talk show?
I did not. It was short lived, wasn't it?
Very short lived. And you know what's great about that? Even he rags on it because it sucked.
Yeah. Do you know the story? I just heard a story recently about Chuck Woolery and the Wheel of Fortune. He went to Merv Griffin after the early success of the show, and he demanded this incredibly high salary. And he said, if I don't get it, I'm going to walk. And Merv said, okay, goodbye, and hired Pat Sajak. And that's exactly how it happened.
You know what I used to like about Wheel of Fortune back in the day? When you got all your money, they put your face in the corner. They took you through the showroom.
Oh, yeah.
You
You used to have to buy the
gallery.
stuff. They don't do that
and
anymore,
it looks
huh?
like your head is floating through the gallery.
It's like, ooh, I think I'll take those those glass slippers, and I'll take a microwave.
Those are the real
And the
geeky guys.
rest
I'll
can
take
be
the
put
video
on a
game system for
Gucci
my
gift
kids.
certificate, on a Gucci gift certificate, or on a savings account.
Yeah.
And of course,
I'll take the gift certificate.
where did every game show host wardrobe come from?
Oh, Dicker and Dicker of Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills,
Yes, that
correct.
I remembered. I think I finally got a trivia question from TC Wright.
Dicker and Dicker of Beverly Hills. I wonder if that's still there.
Oh, God, probably not.
I mean,
all the good stuff's gone.
Next time I go to California, I go to Beverly Hills. I want to find where Dicker and Dicker
Tell
was.
the limo driver, take me to Dicker and Dicker. Although you might want to be
No,
careful.
not in this day and age.
A quick funny story about that. Did I tell the story about Bill Cullen?
Go to West Hollywood.
About Bill Cullen was he was on a panel or something to do with Jerry Lewis. There was a tribute to Jerry Lewis, and Bill Cullen was there, and so was Mel Brooks. And did you know that Bill Cullen had I don't know what he had, but he had he was handicapped.
Okay.
He couldn't really walk. He was walking like this. And when he got out of his chair, Mel Brooks saw him. I think it was a tribute to Bill Cullen, and Jerry Lewis had just spoken.
Okay.
And then it was the end of the night, and Bill Cullen gets out, and he wanted to say hello to Mel Brooks, and he starts, doing the walk like this, and and now Mel Brooks thought he was doing Jerry Lewis, so Mel Brooks starts going like this to him. And they get up and they hug. And he goes, you son of a bitch. No one ever had the courage to make fun of it. Thank you so much. And that's when Mel Brooks realized that this is how he walks. But Bill Cullen told the story. Mel Brooks tells the story 1,000 times better than I just did. But look for that. Mel Brooks, Bill Cullen on YouTube.
I used to like the game show Hot Potato he was on.
Oh, I never heard of that one.
Back in the day, that guy must have been about 10 million game shows.
Yeah. He was good, though. He was
It was him,
Gene Rayburn,
who was the original announcer on The Tonight Show.
Really?
He was Steve Allen's announcer.
Here's Johnny Blank. I saw him. He portrayed Scrooge in Christmas Carol, Gene Rayburn. And my mother said, I wonder if he's going to go, bah, humbug, blank.
He's buried in Gloucester.
Really?
We should go visit his grave.
I would.
I mean, we visited Fredo.
Those microphones, we all had those long microphones.
Actually, when my friend Shannon was on the updated version of the match game, the one hosted by that scumbag Alec Baldwin, she won $15,000 on it. But the microphone was lying there. And she goes, is that it? And he goes, yeah, that's it. And she grabbed it. She actually held it.
Wow. I thought you were going to say she slid it up her sleeve.
No, I was going to say, give me that
everyone.
thing. You can keep the 50. You know what? If I had a choice between the 15 grand and Gene Rayburn's microphone, I'm going with the microphone. I don't care about the 15 grand.
Yeah.
He didn't always have that because there were some episodes where he had the clip-on microphone.
Yeah, but that long microphone was the best.
That's the iconic one right there. Wink Martindale. What do you take on Wink?
I remember Wink. He was what was the one with the
Tic-Tac-Toe.
Tic-Tac-Toe had the dragon's face on it. I remember like if you picked a bad spot or whatever, the dragon's face came out. I remember him. He used to be very popular in Memphis. He used to host like a weekly dance.
He was like the Dick Clark of Memphis.
Yeah, and Elvis Presley was interviewed by him, and I remember, and he was a good friend. Matter of fact, when I saw the tribute show to Elvis Presley in 1997, 20th anniversary to the day of his death, Wink Martindale was the MC of the night.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You think Elvis would have ever gone to one of his game shows if he lived?
Sure.
You think so?
Absolutely.
I think Elvis would have done all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he died in what, 77 when he was at 42.
Yeah.
So, and his career, I wouldn't say it was winding down, but he wasn't, the Elvis of old.
The story goes, he was on his way back. He would have done the movie A Star Is Born, but Colonel just said, no, we're not going to do it.
What a fool.
Yeah.
I can see him on the game shows. I don't think he was ever on The Tonight Show.
No, he never was on any of those talk shows.
Really?
Colonel said if people want to see Elvis Presley, they're going to pay to see him.
Well, he's not wrong, but
No.
But after the Colonel died, when did the Colonel die?
He died in the 90s.
Really? He lasted that long?
Yeah. So it lasted a long time after Elvis, yeah.
Now, you saw the movie with Tom Hanks,
Yep,
right?
yep.
Was Tom Hanks accurate?
I don't think so.
Because he looked like a penguin.
Yeah, I don't think he was accurate. And so not so much his look, but I don't understand this affect, because I was recently watching a clip of Elvis from the press conference from Madison Square Garden, and this is exactly how the Colonel sounded. Folks, I don't want to be the bad guy, but this press conference is over. Good night. And that's how he ended it. But if you listen to Hanks in the Elvis movie, he would say, I don't want to be the bad guy, but this press conference is over.
He sounded like he was on Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, exactly. The evil Nazi.
Yeah, speaking of Tom Hanks and that, well, I wasn't impressed with his take on Mr. Rogers either.
Oh, really? I've never seen that.
Yeah, he played Mr. Rogers. I mean, like, sometimes he sounded like him, but he didn't during the most important parts when he had to do that cute little Daniel, the lion. Meow, meow. Yeah, he couldn't even get that voice right. Yeah, even.
You know who would have been good at that? Steve Carell. He would have been a good Mr. Rogers.
Oh,
Yeah,
did you ever see that horrible Welcome to Marwin?
Was that with all the dolls?
He had the toys and everything.
Yeah,
and
I
the dolls.
didn't see that.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I didn't
don't
see that.
see it.
No, I never saw that. But I think he would have played a good Mr. Rogers. I mean, he's hilarious on The Office.
I think he'll play a pretty good Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that would be good. Why, is he going to do that?
No, I'm just saying they have the same facial features.
I was just saying that would be awesome. That would really be good.
Like a good story about Alice's life, which is very interesting.
I heard he's one of the absolute nicest celebrities you would ever want to meet.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He definitely is. I mean, I've met him a few times. TC was with me, and he's an absolute gentleman. You can talk to him about anything, and he's had quite a story about his recovery from alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah. It almost killed him back in the day, but he's been around. He's got one of the all-time records of the packing the biggest stadium of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that?
Steve Carell?
No, Alice Cooper.
Oh, I was going to say the guy was writing scripts in a convenience store in Concord like 30 years ago.
Come out with a microphone.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. For a second there, I thought you were talking about Steve Carell.
It's okay, Jeff. I'm paying attention.
Remember, you're right. We have met Alice a bunch of times. Remember the time we saw him the last time? We were down at the Rhode Island Comic Con. This is right after Stranger Things debuted.
Okay.
And the little girl who was played 11 in it.
Billy Bobby Bo.
Yeah, have you seen what she looks like now?
Yeah.
Woo! Oh, my goodness.
She's very strange, though.
That doesn't matter. All right. Well, after saying that, I'm going to sound like what I'm going to talk about here. We were standing. It was me, Jeff, and another autograph hound, John. And we were chatting with Alice Cooper right there. It was right before the show was actually kind of opening. And they were setting up all the people down there. And they had little Millie Bobby Brown come out. And she was dressed just like she was in the show. The head shaven, with the Legos and all this stuff. Alice Cooper goes, "This is disgusting." And we're like, "What?" He goes, "Look at that line. Those guys are 50, 60 years old bringing her flowers and candy."
Yeah.
This is a guy who represents the devil, all right?
Yeah.
And he's disgusted because these slobs are bringing this little girl flowers and candy.
He definitely did not live up to his stage persona, but there was a fine line for him, and he didn't cross it.
I don't know what Steve Carell's take on it would be, but we'll have to find out.
Remember when Alice Cooper was in the corner of Jake the Snake. No, was it Jake the Snake or Macho
Yes,
Man?
it was
Jake
Jake the Snake. We were talking about that a couple of days ago. WrestleMania 3.
Jesse goes, "Hey, look like Alice Cooper's been spending some time in the gym," and like McMahon goes, "Shut up, Jesse. That's not what he's all about." Like,
Alice has got a sunken chest right
Rather
soon.
than,
I remember that.
real skinny arms. Come on, man.
I mean, Alice is into my favorite line that I always laugh at. It was they interviewed the Honky Tonk Man prior to the match, and he goes, "Alice Cooper," and no one can say no. I'm not going to drive me crazy. Some nightmare song made by Alice Cooper.
They want to hear, that's right, honky tonk mama. They don't want to hear no nightmare song made by Alice Cooper. Let me tell you something.
You look good in that picture you sent me.
we was just chatting with the Honky Tonk Man last week.
Always liked him.
Yeah,
always.
we were talking about the rats.
That's right.
The ring rats.
The ring
Oh,
rats.
boy, he must have had some stories.
Oh, there was one that Jake the Snake always messed around with. Her name was Krissa. All right. And he goes, "You mean the one that looked like the Wicked Witch of the West?" and I go, but didn't she look like Madam the Puppet Waylon Flower? And he goes, "Jesus Christ, she does."
I remember that because she was always hanging out with this other girl named Annie. And I was like, "Hey, oh, yeah, asshole Annie." And he started laughing. He's like, "Come on now." He had to walk away and get a laugh for himself.
Now, what was he charging?
A lot, but he was. We just chatted with him. He goes, afterward, he goes, "Can you imagine going through a moniker in life? Your name's Asshole Annie."
I always liked the honky tonk. Good stuff.
He was the guy who originated the wrestling podcast. He was the shoot interviews, I should say, where he would just totally trash people.
Yeah.
He was always drunk
Yeah.
on these things, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
No, that's the Honky Tonk Man has always been one of my favorites.
I just saw one
Always.
with him recently. He was trashing Greg Valentine, saying that Greg Valentine's miserable. But I've been watching a lot of Greg Valentine on YouTube lately. Very interesting.
Oh, is that the one where he's sitting in a hotel room?
Yeah, but there's
with
like a million parts to it.
with like Mr. T chains
Yeah.
around his neck and sunglasses. He's going, "Yeah, Tito was a really good guy." Yeah.
And he came out, and, that's but I mean, some of his stories are very interesting. But I looked up; he's got some serious coin. Like he did well with his money.
Do you know what his nickname was backstage with the wrestlers?
What?
The Turtle.
The turtle? Why?
Because he moved so slowly, he
Yeah.
kind of looked like a turtle.
But he was. I think the story was he was supposed to do the job to somebody, and he just said, "No, I'm not doing that," and packed his bag and left.
Oh, well, yeah.
It was. I'm trying to think of who he was supposed to job to, but he said, "No, I'm not doing that."
It couldn't have been anybody big.
No, but it was somebody he just refused. I can't remember. Oh, damn! I wish I could remember that.
But that was a good time hanging with the Honky Tonk Man. That
Yeah.
guy's always been an entertainer.
Yeah.
Always.
Now, while we're on the subject of wrestling, I saw a picture today of of the guy. I think he played the One Man Gang. Did he used to wrestle under the ridiculous moniker the African Dream?
Akeem, yeah.
The African Dream.
I mean, what the hell was that? What was he thinking?
I
I was
heard
like,
that was
that's
a
the same
punishment.
guy.
Okay. What the history of that was?
I heard it was a punishment. Is that true?
It was not a punishment.
Okay.
It was more of a rib against Dusty Rhodes, who was the American Dream.
Gee, boy, what did they have against Dusty?
Because Dusty, Dusty was the booker for the NWA, their rival.
Right.
And Vince McMahon Jr. saw potential when Dusty Rhodes was fighting superstar Billy Graham in the 70s
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
early,
yeah.
in the
Just
early
watched some
80s
of
and
those clips
whatnot.
recently.
And I think that they offered him something and he just didn't take it. So they gave him a lot of jabs all the way because, all right, the American Dream Dusty Rhodes, the African Dream Akeem,
I never put that together.
bodyguard Virgil, because Dusty Rhodes' real name is Virgil.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Okay.
And the whole thing about the polka dots
Yeah.
was Vince McMahon, giving little jabs back at it. But to Dusty's credit, he made the polka dots famous.
He did. He made that. Everything they threw at him, he made it work.
He made it work.
Yeah, he did.
So that
even old Sapphire.
the one man gang thing was hysterical. You can go on YouTube, and it was the summer of, I think it was either late '87 or no, it was 1988.
I was gonna say
because it was
88.
after the movie Coming to America, because Eddie Murphy's name in the movie was Akeem.
Oh, God.
So it was right before the late spring, early summer of '88, and they had Mean Gene Okerlund on assignment in an alleyway somewhere in some inner city, and there was a trash barrel on fire, and then Slick comes out with his ghetto blaster on his
Slick.
on his shoulder, and he goes, You go, Mean Gene, you're going to see the transformation of the one and the only Akeem. And then, the trash can, exploded. And then Akeem comes out and he starts jiving and whatnot. And Mean Gene was like, well, this is the one man guy. No. This is the brother Akeem from deepest, darkest Africa. And then he started going, Akeem started doing the whole jive thing. My main man, Mean Gene Okerland.
That was funny.
It was hysterical.
Akeem.
And today he's more known as Akeem than the one-man gang that he did for 15 years.
Yeah, the one-man gang. I remember that.
Akeem was hysterical.
That was really funny.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. They could never get away with that today.
No.
But
think of some of those things that he came up
it
with.
was all stereotypical back in the day.
But what's his name? The adorable Adrian Adonis.
That's right. Yeah.
I just recently saw him at some of his older photos.
Yeah, he was a
looked
biker.
pretty cool.
He was a biker guy.
Yeah, biker guy with his leather jacket with no shirt and everything. Slick back hair.
He was the one who came up with that.
What do you mean?
Being the flamboyant character.
Oh, yeah. That I heard, yeah.
Because, I guess growing up, his favorite was Gorgeous George.
Gorgeous George,
He just took it to a different level.
In Adrian Street.
And he became, the adorable Adrian Adonis.
Yes.
And more people are going to remember him as being the flamboyant character than ever being part of the East-West connection with Jesse the Body Ventura.
True. Yeah, but they're like the New York tough guys. They're the leather scally types.
Right. They look like Marlon Brando in either On the Waterfront or the Wild Ones or whatever, Wild Bunch or whatever.
Wild One, that was a good movie.
But yeah, the adorable Adrian.
But think of some of the personas or the gimmicks. Remember Bastion Booger?
Oh yeah. Well, he had a couple failed.
He was Norman the Lunatic.
Well, he was Norman the Lunatic in the NWA.
Yeah.
When he first came in, he was Friar Ferguson.
Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
He was the monk from.
What did Ringman think?
As long as he's gonna make a toy out of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I don't know what Bastion Booger was.
No,
he was just a slob.
Yeah.
Was he
dirty?
Was he Bastion Montana?
Like to act like cry like a baby and pick his nose.
Yeah, he was always picking his nose and oh man.
Bastion
and just that onesie, that terrible onesie. It was worse than it was worse than King Kong Bundy's onesie. Yeah, I never seen anybody tear apart a onesie.
Because you could see his nuts and stuff, and they were real tiny.
It looked like he was wrapped up in duct tape.
Yeah, we're probably the only three people on the face of the earth talking about Bastion Booger
right now. He just had this real simple theme like Booger.
Is he a man with a pencil in the corner of his mouth going,
what would sell here?
Bastion Booger.
Well, we used him as a monk, and that got a lot of flack. We can't do that. I got it. We'll just make him a slob and call him Bastion Booger.
Remember what he did to that poor Drozdow kid in that documentary? What was it, Beyond the Mat, when they showed McMahon telling him what his gimmick was going to be? Because Drozdow had a thing for when he played college football, he used to throw up in the game, and he goes, "We're gonna name you Puke."
He's gonna puke.
And I felt so bad for that kid. I'm like sitting there, the kid's probably going like, "Yeah."
I'm actually in that movie.
Are you really? Oh, you're one of the
druids,
the acolytes there. Yes, I remember you telling me.
He's gonna puke.
Now, whatever happened with that poor kid?
Another character that originated, the character Ralphus. What's the name of that wrestler that, Ralphus was?
Chris Jericho.
Okay, Chris Jericho. So, he basically just hired this guy and named him Ralphus. Named him after one of my favorite movies, a little dwarf actor, that was his character's name in Blood-Sucking Freaks, Ralphus, which is I also discovered, which is one of Chris Jericho's all-time favorite movies.
He's a cool one.
He hired on his, he just, all right, we'll name this guy Ralphus and everything. He was just the light, the guy that drove the lights everywhere, the guy that drove the truck and everything. But he's
I don't remember Ralphus.
The only way I can describe Ralphus, Imagine Bull bald.
Ooh.
That's Ralphus. All right.
Okay.
That's the only way you can describe Ralphus.
But yeah, he had his own. He had groupies. He had rats and everything. And like Chris Jericho described him as the ugliest women he'd ever saw.
Oh.
But
Everyone needs love.
he argued with him. He's like, yeah, I want a contract, my own wrestling contract. He's like, no, I can't do that for you. You already work for WWF.
Ralphus is dead.
He is.
Yeah, Ralphus. Yeah,
Rest
Ralphus.
in peace, Ralphus.
Ralphus used to drive the ring truck.
Wow.
And I guess Chris Jericho wanted a lackey, a goofball with him, and he just saw the guy every night setting the ring up. He's like, there he is.
Oh.
There's my Ralphus. And the rest is history.
As they say down Mexico way.
Never been down Mexico way.
Don't go there now. People are dying in hotels.
They're dying in hotels.
Yeah, there's another tourist that's something to do with the air or something like that. I don't know. But this is the second time I've heard
How are people dying in hotels if they're all illegally immigrating into this country? Is there anybody there anymore?
People go down there to vacation.
Okay.
There's nice parts of Mexico. But what was not too long ago that people were sitting on the beach and the cartels came by and shot them all sitting on the beach. Don't go to Mexico.
Don't go to Mexico. You heard it here from Ricky Bittman down there.
Billy
Bad
Joel
news
song.
from that cartel and everything. But I
mafia
hear there
needs to
are
take it over.
there are some huge flea markets that are that are the size of 7-8 football fields, and you can just get anything
And they
you
get
want.
mad when you don't haggle. If they give you a price, you don't pay that price, and if you don't haggle to get it down, they get pissed. You got to play the game down there.
Well, I won't be going to Mexico anytime soon.
And I wouldn't be.
No, with this complexion, the sun would kill me down there. So what do you got on your piece of paper over there?
So I reported this story last night, and I wanted to get everyone's take on
Breaking
this.
news.
Very breaking news, because this is, I had to go deep on the interwebs to find this one out. It's all true. I'm going to read the story as I reported it on the jukebox last night, and I only reported a little bit, so you're getting the whole story tonight.
Here we go.
Okay, a movement is in effect to change the name of planet Earth to Oprah.
Oprah.
A grassroots campaign out of all places, Rentham, Massachusetts, has formed, and efforts are in place to have Earth officially changed to Oprah by the year 2026. The movement was founded by Massachusetts native Blaine Derby, a lifelong Oprah enthusiast and self-described thinker of all things positive. Derby, whose pronouns tend to fluctuate, says this will create an air of positivism that is grossly missing on our mother's ship. And who better to name it after than the mother who looks after us all, Oprah herself. Derby went on to remark, this global social shift will have an impact like nothing ever attempted to garner world peace and quell the negative energy that is attached to so many societal interactions. Derby's partner, Heft Boyington, has named the foundation Neon for the Name Earth Oprah Now, and claims the membership is in well over tens of thousands. Between the two gentlemen, the money they've garnered from membership fees has already paid for the group's T-shirts and decorative lanyards. Once the name is in place, Derby claims, we will witness a shift similar to the North Star announcing the birth of the Emmanuel himself. Do you believe this?
Okay.
Oprah.
Okay. I got nothing personal against Oprah Winfrey.
No.
I mean, I think she's been around way too long.
Yeah.
I mean, but gotta give her credit. She came from nothing and is a gazillionaire.
Yeah.
But
Oprah.
the planet Oprah.
Nothing shocks me anymore, but this kind of did.
Okay, why don't they do her production company and call it Planet Harpo? That's Oprah backwards.
Oprah backwards. I didn't think I realized that till just a few years ago.
But okay, all right.
So Neon, name Eartha Oprah Now. Neon. That's the name of the organization out of Rentham, Massachusetts.
Okay, well, I've never been to Rentham, Massachusetts, and I plan on not visiting Rentham. Now, why Oprah? I mean,
I told you everything I know about it. There's a little blurb.
I mean, let's get. Like I said, she's a very successful person. She's done, miracles with her life. Okay?
But I think the people who see that success think of it on almost like a cosmic plane. Like she's beyond somebody who just made a lot of money.
Okay, Elvis is more famous than Oprah Winfrey.
I would vote for her.
Worldwide, okay?
Yeah.
There are people probably in Canada who have no idea who Oprah Winfrey is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think people in England and Ireland are sitting there watching Oprah every day?
According to these two guys, it's going to be Jeff, what do you think? Planet Oprah?
No. I just did a show not too long ago about aliens. They're like this is the reason why they don't stop here and come down. He's all right. We're supposed to drop by planet What do they call themselves now? Oprah? No, fuck them. Those Earthlings. Those silly
No,
Earthlings.
the Opralings.
Opralings would be called.
Opralings. You're not Earthlings anymore.
We're Opralings.
Now, my question is, what is Oprah's take on this?
I don't know if she was ever interviewed by them, but I think eventually, now that this story is kind of leaking out a little bit,
Right.
maybe just maybe.
You think she's going to go along with it? So
I think she would go along with this like you couldn't believe.
well, she needs ratings.
Yeah.
All right, so you're talking in 3 years' time,
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
the entire planet, which doesn't, of course, we in the United States think we're the entire
That's what I
planet.
said to these guys. This kind of goes beyond the boundaries of the U.S. You got a lot of people that are going to vote on this
Okay,
one.
you think someone in like New Zealand or Zimbabwe or the Isle of Tonga, all right?
Imagine some Aussie guy catching his son jerking off. What on Oprah are you doing?
Oh, okay, I've heard a lot now. That's
What in the Oprah are you doing?
all right. Well, no, all right. So, say we wanted to start our own cult here, all right, and we wanted to rename the planet. All right, we can't name it after ourselves, obviously, because
No.
that's too vain. Even though Planet Restani does have a nice ring
It
to
does. I was thinking Planet Quincy.
Planet Montana. Well, he's already a state. But what figure in history, doesn't have to be in entertainment, it can be anything. I mean, what would you name it after?
That's a good one. I mean, it just never occurred to me that listen, the way the Earth is, the way the world is right now, anything is possible. I mean, with everyone's identity's changing.
Right.
I can just see young people embracing this like there's no other. Me personally, I like to go back to what you said. Planet Elvis.
Planet Elvis. Hey, it still begins with an E.
Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
If I think can think of a great master of this world,
Steve Carell.
No, absolutely not. Elvis is
Tinto
like
Brass.
No,
Ralphus.
no, those are all like pretty good ones, but I would have to say Gandhi.
Planet Gandhi.
He's done more for the world than Oprah.
I thought you were going to say like Cheech or Chong or something.
No. He would have to be somebody who brings a lot of peace to the world.
Yeah, well, see,
Okay, well then if that's the way it is. Welcome to Planet Hefner.
Hefner. There you go.
Hey,
Planet Tits.
There you go.
But so who knows? Maybe if this catches on, it sounds like they've got enough money to buy T-shirts and lanyards.
Okay, all right. Well,
So if we can get a hold of one of those, but who knows what we'll have to pay for membership fees. But maybe we should, maybe Quincy interview these guys.
now where does the epicenter of Earth is? Is it in Chicago? Because that's where she's based.
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, that's where Oprah Winfrey's show is in Chicago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how much thought. This is the only thing I could find.
And how did you stumble across this?
I don't know, but I just said, Earth to change name by 2026, and I'm like, okay.
Click. All right, what is it?
Yeah. I'm like, hey, what are we doing now? And I was like, I'm reading this, and my jaw just hit the floor. And I said, I'm going to save this for the jukebox. And I reported it last night. I didn't get into the whole thing about the partner and Hef Boyington and all this, and the name Neon. I was saving that for tonight. So.
Well, I mean, you know what? Now, does that have to go like on a ballot? I mean, how would you change the name of Earth?
I think nowadays people are so effing nuts that all they have to do is put this out on Twitter, and pretty soon people will just start calling it Oprah. And all these new kids that are being born. By the way, you live on planet Oprah. That's all it takes, really.
No, here's something that I'm sure we could look it up and find out. But who actually did name the planet Earth?
Yeah, that's a good question. Where did the name Earth come from? Let's see if we can find out.
But because the world, the Earth is what, 75% water.
True.
Why didn't they name it water?
Why is Earth called Earth?
Why
is Earth called what?
Did Noah name it? I mean, who named it?
Why is Earth Day important? That's not what I asked.
Well, Earth Day is important so you can recycle plastic.
Why is Earth, my fat fingers, called Earth? Namesake. The name Earth is at least 1,000 years old. All of the planets except for Earth were named after Greek and Roman gods. That's true, and goddesses. However, the name Earth is a Germanic word which simply means the ground.
The goddamn Germans ain't got nothing to do with it.
So it's the ground. So what would Oprah be called? I mean, she means what?
I don't know.
The woman, the queen. I don't know. She's got answers to everything. But I honestly could see this, like the younger generation that's out there now. I could see them just like going for.
Yeah, but
this.
do they know? I mean, they'll go for it, but they're not even going to know who Oprah is.
But if somebody's, I just think they would just say, "Oh, this will really piss off the other people now. We're getting rid of all the old people. We're going to be dying off eventually. They're going to be left to their own devices, and they'll be happy to call the world Oprah."
So when I get buried in the ground in the cemetery, it's no longer Earth, it's Oprah.
It's Oprah. You're buried in Oprah.
I'm going to be buried. Well, you know,
Mother Earth. Mother Oprah.
Mother Oprah.
Yeah.
Mercury, Venus, Oprah, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Oh my goodness.
Jeff's face says it all.
So, I mean, we already got a planet named after a Disney character, named after a named after Mickey's dog.
Yeah, Pluto.
That's not even a planet. They come to the conclusion it's just like a moon or an
Yeah,
asteroid.
they took its planet status away. Yeah.
I mean, get up with your astronomy over there.
Well, that's bullshit. They should have left it alone.
They should. I mean, but so that's wow. Okay, all right. I'm surprised. I'm surprised
Yeah,
people.
leave Pluto alone. What did they discontinue it as a planet?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's still technically in the solar system as a planet, but it's not a planet. It's more of just a big rock.
Yeah.
You can't cut out Pluto. Like that ruins the whole.
It's
Janet
lost its
planet
planet
song.
status.
Planet Janet. Enter Planet
Now,
Janet.
we have a lot of friends in England out there. I mean, would they be upset? They would probably want to name it Elizabeth.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like, why do these two guys think the whole world, the whole Oprah is going to get behind them? I don't know.
I'm flabbergasted by this. I mean, oh man, can you imagine if? I wonder what Alex Jones's take is on
my
this. Or we live on the solar system. Magellan is cool. We live on the planet Earth that God created in 7 days.
Cool.
We're not on the planet Oprah.
Well, we're going to be by the year 2026 if these
Not
two
if I
guys
have anything to do with it.
talk to Derby and Heft. Heft Boyington and Blaine Derby.
I think you need to get him on the jukebox.
I'm telling you, I think that would be, if we had these two guys up to the studio, I think this would be groundbreaking.
I think we need to send Quincy down to their house.
Now, what are you trying to do this for? I don't understand.
If you're gonna name it anything, you're gonna name it Milk.
Yeah, name it Milk.
You're gonna name.
And name the moon Cashews.
Milk and cashews, and then I'll be like the emperor of the universe. Maybe that's where he is right now. He's at an Oprah rally.
Quincy. Oh, God.
That is all right.
I really wanted his take on this, too. What?
Oh, we'll have to save that for next time.
We'll definitely. We'll leave this up here and remind him.
Now, we only got a few minutes left. But now, what's your take on this Titanic submarine?
I think we were talking about it a little bit before we went on the air. It's just a tragedy. Just an absolute horror show to me. It just bothers me to think what
these people paid $250,000 to get in a submarine that looks like a trash can and go 900 miles underwater to the wreckage of the Titanic.
And did you see what was controlling it? It was a game controller.
Like a console, you could call it.
That's what drove it.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. It's 100, and they said it's because it's people are used to using that, and it's durable, and it can bounce around, and can take impact and stuff.
Now I know there was a guy by the name of Ballard. He was the guy who discovered
I was trying to think of his name today. Bob Ballard.
He discovered the
wreck
in 1985.
Yes.
And he had one of these giant, boats that he used, sonar and
Nice
whatnot.
and safe.
And he found the damn wreckage.
Yeah.
And then he submerged himself.
Yep.
But he still had a rope going up to the boat.
Yeah.
No one got. I don't know where this thing shoved off from.
I don't either.
But someone said I could be completely wrong on this, but they were somewhere around here, like on Cape Cod or in Boston Harbor, and 5 people got into this little contraption to go 900 miles because I guess the Titanic wreckage is 900 nautical miles east of Boston Harbor.
And how deep is it?
It's got to be miles down, easily, because they have to go in one of those pressurized gimmicks,
which is what,
or you're gonna get crushed.
Yeah.
But these people, if they wanted to do it, I feel bad that they're dead and whatnot. That's a horrible way to go. But if you really wanted to see the Titanic that bad, go rent the movie.
Yeah,
there's
I'll look at I went to see one. It was
James Cameron documentary that he did.
one of those IMAX things.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget that. I felt like I was looking at the Titanic, and I sat in my seat, and then I went out for a beer afterwards.
And didn't they build an exact replica of the Titanic?
Yeah.
Well, they're supposedly going to launch that, but I don't think they're going to launch that now because no one's going to go anywhere near anything named the Titanic.
I think it's cursed.
I mean,
have you seen the pictures that juxtapose the Titanic against the actual cruise ships of today?
Oh, it looks like a tugboat.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah. I mean, the cruise ship that I was on 20 years ago, not the Pacific Princess, but
SS Oprah?
the SS Oprah. It's like a floating city.
Yeah.
And I've seen that picture you're talking about. They have the Titanic in front of
yes.
it. And it looks like...
It could swallow it up.
It looks like... a tugboat pulling this thing somewhere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now now the Titanic was everywhere this past week. People were putting memes out on social media, and one of them, when you think about it, it makes sense. Obviously, the movie Titanic, the love story, was fiction,
right?
But in that movie, Rose was going to jump off the Titanic in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
If she did that, that means the Titanic would have had to stop, rescue her, and it never would have hit the iceberg.
Wow. That's deep.
It is. It's deep. It's deeper than the Titanic is now.
Just the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Or the one. I have been and always shall be your friend.
So, Jack should have just given her a good shove.
Right.
After he gave her a good,
it just. But seriously,
yeah, that is the real reason that they had her clothes were half ripped off and everything, and why his jacket was off. I think they were covering up some. That Jack Dawson was really a shady ship bum.
And there's another rumor going around that the Titanic was an inside job. They wanted to get rid of all those rich people.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Smell ice, can you? Bloody hell. I mean, that's what it came down to. They didn't see the iceberg, though. What was the backup plan?
Okay. You figure, all right, you're on the ship they're quoting as the ship that was unsinkable and it sinks on its maiden voyage. Right. Every rich aristocrat that was around then was on that boat.
Right.
If you were people who didn't like them, that's a perfect way,
I agree.
Clean to get rid of them.
I agree.
So who knows if they really did? I mean, no one has video proof.
I just thought of something I've been dying to ask somebody.
Okay.
And it's kind of on the same vein as the Titanic. What was another big disaster?
9/11.
Well, the Hindenburg.
The Hindenburg, yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Help me with this because the Hindenburg, right? If I had a pen, I would show you. So the Hindenburg, the Zeppelin is this giant air-filled balloon, right?
It was metal.
Is that what it was? But now, what's inside of that? Is that just the air that floats? Like, where were the people?
Well, it was a cockpit on the.
I think it's the compartment is on the bottom of the thing. So that's the
only
itself.
place there was people.
Well, no, because they used the Zeppelin in Indiana Jones' The Last Crusade, and they had like an observation deck, and then they had an escape with the plane on the bottom, and that was actually when did the Hindenburg blow up?
Oh God, I don't know.
Was that before or after World War II?
It was probably
during.
Yeah, I think it was during because the swastikas were on the tail.
Okay, so the Last Crusade was prior to World War II.
Yeah.
So they were cruising around on Zeppelins. They were a big thing over in Europe.
But the thing at the bottom, how big was it?
I have no idea.
I mean, they were saying all the humanity, like so many people died, but where were all the people in this? Just like this, it looks like a I don't know what the hell how you would describe it, but it's just like hung at the bottom of this giant balloon, right? So there was nothing in that silver
in the tube.
Yeah, there was nothing in there, but the air that made it float. Am I right?
Wasn't it helium?
But they weren't like rooms in there. Right?
I don't know. We'll have to investigate that before the next one.
Because it bothers me because every now and then that'll come and I say I got to look that up and I'm actually too lazy to look it up. I was probably maybe blueprint of the Hindenburg. Like what's it? Like I see the Goodyear blimp, right? And it has this little compartment at the bottom and there's only like two guys in there. But when you hear about the Hindenburg, it was like almost like the number of people that were on the Titanic. Where were they? In that little thing at the bottom? Was there bathrooms
There
in
were only 36 people on the Hindenburg.
So it really wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Jesus, you listen to that guy.
It was May the 6th, 1937.
So it was prior to World War II.
And it blew up over Lakehurst, New Jersey.
That I know. But
well, wait a minute. There was 36 passengers and 61 crew members.
All right, so, okay, 100 people, we'll say. And they were all... What? I just don't understand. I've never seen the movie The Hindenburg. Maybe that'll help. But what was in... You know, there was a cockpit?
Okay, it was very similar to the scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
So that was okay. That's below.
That's below it. So, but I think they did have a little cockpit where the crew members were.
But didn't that thing fly over the Atlantic Ocean?
It did.
So where are the bathrooms? It just doesn't look like there's anything there except a big dining room table.
Well, I mean, when you fly in a plane, you don't see a poop pipe hanging out, dropping it down.
But there just doesn't seem to be anything else.
I think there might be a tube in the center and an elevator that goes up to the center of the contraption to the bubble part of the Zeppelin itself. That way, because when it blew up and you saw it. You saw it blow up and everything, it happened so quick. But I think that there's a elevator that goes up from the bottom section that goes to the middle section.
Okay.
That creates a bigger...
Now, wasn't George C. Scott in the movie?
What, wasn't that Black Sunday?
I don't remember. I just remember he was in some blimp movie.
I think he was in Black Sunday. I could be wrong, which was one of those.
Other than that, the only other Zeppelin I've ever seen in a movie up close is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you'll have to...
Black Sunday was terrorists commandeered the Goodyear blimp and they were going to explode it over the Super Bowl.
Okay.
That's a good movie.
Well, there you go. But it all...
that just bothered me.
And I've just seen the real, like he's talking about, that's the only thing I've seen, and plus the real footage of it blowing up. And and it does take less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was instant. But doesn't that seem like a lot of work just for 100 people? Less than 100 people. To take them across the...
Okay, yeah. It was a novelty.
Whose idea was this?
Well, obviously some German.
Like when in Scarface, when he's looking up, it says "The world is yours."
Yeah,
like that. You could tell there was just like 4 or 5 guys up there running it, but they took 100 people across the Atlantic Ocean to perish. I just think it was a complete waste of time and effort and lives.
I blame Steve Carell.
Yeah. I don't know why this bothers me. This actually helped me a little bit. This cleared out a little dustbin of my mind. Like it just swept some shit out. So sorry.
Well, you are a resident of Planet Oprah.
That's true.
So everything that you knew before doesn't exist anymore.
That's true. It's all changed.
A whole new world.
Oprah.
Planet Oprah.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna try and figure the whole thing out because Oprah backwards is Harpo. The Marx brother.
Yeah.
Should have mailed it to the Marx brothers.
What's that from?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Right.
And he had it on the Zeppelin. Well, the clock on the wall here on Planet Oprah is telling us it's time to wrap things up. I want to thank you for listening to After Hours of TC Restani The Podcast. The first one from the newly crowned Planet Oprah. So we're going to sign off here. Remember, this is After Hours, and we what?
Never close.